Gundam.tk presents Victory Gundam. Yes, Master Grade. Hey everybody, Robert184 and welcome back to part 3 of my review of the Master Grade Victory Gundam. And don't forget to check out part 1 for all the parts and details. Once you've got it all built up, you're going to have these parts once everything is put together. And starting at the top, you're going to have the choice between the Hexa Core Fighter and the regular V Gundam type, which in this case is in the chest form. You're going to have the top rim, the waist, which makes up the bottom rim, 2 arms, you're going to have little waist armor that attaches on the side of the skirt, 2 legs, 2 feet. For the additional parts you're going to get 2 beam sabers, 2 handles, a beam fan, the shield, the beam rifle here, which I've got in 2 separate parts. You're going to get a very small Uso Ebbing figure with a Hado, which I thought was a cute touch. 3 attachment pieces that you're going to be able to use to be able to put this onto the action base. Now these 2 parts are plug and play. You're going to pull off the fists and put these in when you transform it into the top fighter. And you're also going to get the ability to replace the fingers on the hands. So you don't actually get separate sets of fists, but you do get separate sets of fingers. And then you're going to get an extra set of landing gear that you can put at the bottom of the core fighters. And you're also going to get a special clear stand that goes on a clear action base. Again, that you plug into the core fighter, and you can have that standing beside the Victory Gundam. Now to take a look at the parts from top to bottom, and every once in a while I'm going to throw in an comparison of the high grade 1/100th, which you can see here on the right. So here's a look at the core fighter, which right now is transformed into V Gundam mode. And the most important part for me is that you're able to slide this part forward and it reveals the pilot, Uso Ebbing, and in the case of the Hexa, it's going to be Marvit. So that actually is a really nice feature, although there is a little bit of looseness all around it. Otherwise, these parts tuck in fairly tightly. In the back, though, you're not going to have much mobility. These jets will open in the back, and you're able to slide this part up and down, but otherwise everything is locked into place. Now the head for me was a real winner here for the V Gundam. I think they nailed the proportions, and something I'd like to see Bandai do every time is that inside the white halves of the head there's a big gray piece, and that puts in the parts here, and you don't have to end up doing lining anywhere on the insides, but you're still going to get that deep gray effect. Now on the nose part here, or on the faceplate, you're able to put in the line going straight up and down, which I know some people don't like, but I decided to go with it, and I thought if I didn't like it, I'd just leave it on the Hexa. But I was happy with it because they do sort of pare it down a little bit compared to the rest of the face. Now one complaint is that if you look really carefully here, you can see that there's red underneath the eyes, and then there's red on the sticker. And actually it was really hard to get the sticker on in a way that you're not going to have it off-centered, because when you plug in the face onto the red piece which contains the chin and the eyes, it actually pushes everything out of place. So you're either going to want to trim that first or just paint the eyes as a real professional would do anyway. And I think when you hold these 2 chests side by side, the Master Grade and the High Grade, you really get an idea for the level ups. One thing I should notice though is that this one has yellow stickers on here, but this one has very thin yellow vents, and that's going to show up quite a bit differently when we actually put the Gundam together. But you can see that these are drawn in. It's a big face with just very few pieces that's all lined, and I think they really did a good job, especially with the head here. As for the chest, I think there's no detail spared here. At the top you can see that these parts will bend down, and that's used when you dock the core fighter, and then there's little pegs here that will lock into place. But good job there, although these blue parts do want to fall off. Something that impressed me a lot was the fact that these gray parts are actually part of the frame underneath, and you put blue and white parts respectively over top of that, which really gives it that finished Master Grade feel. One problem I did have is with this hatch. It looks good, but it's on a very simple mount mechanism here. But when you push it in, you actually have to push it a fair bit, and it tends to want to pop off the bottom rather than go into place. So I worry if that's going to possibly break in the future if you transform it too much. When you look inside, you can see a lot of detail work on the inner frame here, and you can see that the front skirts are able to move a fair bit, and the back skirt is able to move up and down independently, and if you open it up, you're going to reveal 2 jets inside. Once you build the arms, you're going to say, wow, I really understand why they took so long to build this master grade. First of all, inside you've got gray parts clamped around there. Then you've got independent moving white parts on either side that are actually made up of a fair number of pieces. The locking mechanism is here on the arm, and you have a lot of moving parts here. The shoulder moves, and you'll see that this is a little bit loose, but you'll see that that's actually a good thing later. When you have the arms, I wasn't crazy about these red stickers. This should be actually red on the inside here, but with these stickers, this is probably the best that I can do with some lining there. It's going to take you a few tries to get them on right. But if you look at the arm, and take a look at the elbow, which is big, ugly gray on the old V Gundam, but when you bend it up, you'll notice that this part separates and comes down, but that's able to give you the 180 effect, so I will happily trade it. But inside the forearm is where you have tons of detail. First of all, this opens up, and inside this red part here, you're actually able to store the beam sabers, so he can reach over, pull out his beam sabers, and with this red part, unlike the high-grade 1/100th, you're actually able to bring that forward, and it's also on a slide mechanism, so you can bring that forward, pull off this front part, and put the shield on over the fist, so he's not just protecting back and to the left. Lock that into place, you'll see that there's another moving part in there. But when you compare the two arms, this is just big, blocky, and I had to do all of that lining. There's just no comparison in the complexity between the sets of the two. If you look here, these fingers, which make up most of the hand, are actually all separate parts, and you're able to get a weapon holding one, which is spread apart, and an open trigger finger one, etc. So an interesting approach to the hands for this master grade. For the waist unit, nothing fancy because you're going to put the skirts all around it. It does have one moving part here that's going to lock into place, and otherwise the thing that impressed me the most is at the bottom you're able to separate these parts here, but when you do that they lock into place with a satisfying click, which means that you know that you put them together properly because you're going to be splitting that during the transformation. And here's the old one. Yep, that's just a big, ugly block of gray. And as for the side skirts, they're just two pieces here, gray and white, and you put on the sticker, which was actually the easiest of the stickers to put on. The legs are great, although you're not going to get the same wow factor with them that you do with the arms. When you bend the legs, you can see a fantastic bend mechanism, although it does expose a fair bit of parts, but the fact that it can still do the 180 or near to it is great. At the top you have a solid piece on the front and on the back, no lining, which I liked, and you have a gray part under here which you can just pop a single line in and pop that on. And I think that's one of the better looking upper legs that I've seen on a Gundam. Things that continue to impress me are the fact that they put these gray rivets into the metal into the inner frame so that they show through. Now this part, it's a little bit hard to seal up, but in a way it sort of gives it a bit of a fluid motion, which is cool. And when you bend the leg, you'll see that at the back, this part pops up. And you are able to open up this hatch, although that handle, this cover wants to fall off more often than not, and you're able to bring this out, and you have a slide piece, which is actually locked inside there, and you're going to be able to use this in the transformation. But overall, compared to this old blocky thing, which hardly does anything, huge step up for the legs here. When you're looking at the feet, you can see that they have a fair bit of detail, including the gray parts of the inner frame showing through, which is a great touch, and the mobility, you're able to bend them down that much. And compare that to the old foot, which you're able to bend down just, well, a little bit less. But overall, you can just see again the quality here with the gray inner frame and no ugly split seams right down the middle where everybody can see them. Looking at the weapons and accessories, here's the old one, which is very fat and ugly, and the new thin one, which includes electrical discharge all over it, so that looks pretty sharp. In addition, the beam fan is again light and thin compared to the big fat ugly one that they had on the high grade, and the beam sabers are also very small, and a very light pink, but again it sort of suits the motif of the small, powerful V Gundam. One complaint I did have is the beam rifle. The fact that it's made out of different colors is fantastic, but the way you attach it together is there's a very, very small peg here and here. You may be able to see the hole there. And when you plug it in, it does stay in place, but it's very, very easy to dislodge. But the fact that they made this out of two colors, and you're able to transform this later for the top fighter mode, is a cool plus. And here's a comparison shot between the new rifle and the old one, which is just a big fat load of gray. Well, thanks for checking out all the parts, everybody, and stay tuned, because we've already seen that the Master Grade is a big step up on this ugly old high grade. So let's see how it looks all put together. Thanks for watching, everybody. www.gundam.tk